Welcome to my Substack Live. I'm grateful that you're here on the snowy day in Massachusetts. Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing? Are you doing good? Let's talk for about 30 minutes or so about what we're feeling. I'm calling the series Getting a Grip. It's not easy. We are furious. It's like abuse. I understand. It feels like we have been abused for the past 10 years emotionally because we have. It's like we're not imagining it. You're feeling cold? It's pretty cold here. We got more snow than we expected here on the East Coast. And it's drifting out there. It stopped snowing, but we got another foot. So that was interesting. I attempted to drive somewhere and I never made it, so I just turned around. It was good to be out. Um, yeah, so we've been under assault emotionally for the past 10 years. And in light of the fact that these Epstein files are coming out and it's an international criminal enterprise, as we well know, that this is a criminal international enterprise. And in light of that, I can think of a couple of instances where we really have egg on our face as Americans. And what I mean by that is, for example, after the Orange Monster incited a violent coup, which he helped to plan and get all together to make it happen, because he can't stand to lose anything. And he didn't get held accountable. Shortly after that, his buddy Bolsonaro tried to do the same thing, tried to conduct a coup. And what happened to him and all the people that were involved in the coup was they were promptly arrested and held to account. So here we are, going on 6 years later. Not only was he never held accountable, he got away with violating the 14th Amendment, Section C. He got away with the Supreme Court aligning with his criminality and saying it's okay to be a criminal. Bolsonaro got 27 years in prison. Yeah. And he's out, isn't he? I don't know if he's in prison currently. I have to look that up. So now the Epstein files, right? They're out. They're everywhere. Like I said, it's an international crime ring, human trafficking, and all the horrible things that it's hard to even talk about, right? So in the UK, people are being held accountable. Am I right? They're being shamed and they have to step down. And Stammer is being held accountable for allowing, excuse me, I didn't write down names, but allowing one of his underlings, somebody who worked with him. If you know their names, just let me know. Shame, 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 right? Shame, shame, shame. These people have to step down. It's only been a week. Trump's name appears in the Epstein files 38,000 times. And in this country, we have to put up with James Comer and the rest of the cast of clowns going after the Clintons, who said, okay, have at it, right? Calling his bluff. Have at it. we'll have a public hearing, just like Jack Smith asked for a public hearing, in which, the MAGA Republicans kinda lost that one. They lost that stupid match. And here we are in the United States of America, feeling like we have egg on our faces because it's a lawless country. We are becoming a lawless country. We have a majority criminal complicit Supreme Court. Let's remember, Ginny Thomas helped with the insurrection. She helped to pay for the buses for the insurrectionists to go. She was pleading and praying with her holy God, whoever that is, for this orange monster to get back in the White House. Yeah, which James Comer was like, "What? What do you mean?" Like with the Clintons. Clarence Thomas took a trip on his yacht or somebody's yacht to Moscow. Might have been 2018, or I'm not sure what the year was, but also in 2018, members of Congress, Republicans, went to the Kremlin on the 4th of July to hang out with the people at the Kremlin, where they got their marching orders, if you ask me. I mean, it's kind of like some things you can just put the puzzle pieces together. So they've been complicit since 2018. They've been accomplices to the crime of taking down the United States of America. And now the evidence is all out there because nobody's being held accountable for turning the United States of America into a crime scene, right? It's a crime scene. Yeah. This country is being run into the ground by a band of criminals that collude with the enemy. And this racist, bigoted, horrible excuse for a human being who has zero decency in his soul is posting the most like breathtakingly racist things. We all know what he did with AI and the Obamas. And by the way, on that point, I've noticed a lot of people on social media are posting the most gorgeous pictures of Michelle and Barack Obama laughing together, dancing together, walking together. They're a really cool couple. But the fact that we have to put up with this, and then we have Democrats getting on their shows on mainstream media and being asked about it, and they say things like this. Swear to God. Yeah, that was kind of racist. Yeah, he shouldn't act like that. He should apologize. Are you effing kidding me? Impeach him. So the emotional abuse is such that it's like you're watching somebody destroy your beloved family. And you're screaming and screaming and screaming, "Somebody help, somebody help. Call the police. Somebody help. This is an emergency." And this is the feeling. And people are kind of maybe sitting around as you're having an emergency and you're being assaulted and you're being really the victim of massive numbers of crimes being perpetrated on you, and you're wanting somebody to notice and to help, and people are sitting around. This is the feeling, going, "Oh yeah, that's kind of bad. Yeah, that's too bad. Somebody's ransacking your house and dissing your family and putting you in danger, and the police aren't coming and nobody really cares. They're just sitting around going, oh, that's too bad. Right? Am I right? Can I get a witness?" And this is why we have to kind of talk about it. We have to come together and talk about it, so we know that we're not crazy. And a lot of people do check out because it's so infuriating. that it's just it's traumatizing, it's infuriating, it's triggering, and it causes us to feel that we have no power, but that's the tactic to get us to feel like we have no power, to get us to feel as though we live in a lawless country and nobody is standing up for we the people. So, guess what? It's we the people that will stand up for we the people. And when we the people all get the memo, then we're going to see some things happening because we're not going to put up with this weak Democrats in office going, well, yeah, that was kind of racist. Maybe he'll apologize. This man has never apologized in his entire existence ever. And he's all hanging out with the Christians, like the Christians who are all for just letting people get murdered in the name of Christ, I guess. I don't know. So we're one seat away from getting the House. This has to stop. Yeah, we do have special elections, and we're gaining ground. And he's very proud of his racism. He definitely is, and he used that yesterday because his name appears in the Epstein files 38,000 times. So because he doesn't want us to focus on his name being in there, and that's just what we have thus far. There's millions and millions and millions and millions of more evidence, documents, videos, pictures, and such. And he's, a few weeks ago, he was going after the Epstein estate and wants to sue them. Yeah, racism has been a problem in this country, and this is like the American, original sin that needs to be atoned for. We need to seek forgiveness. So because he doesn't want us talking about his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, he threw up that meme. Because he doesn't want us to realize that he's about to steal $10 billion from the United States Treasury. That's the plan. Maybe the check has already been written by Scott Bessent. Don't even get me started about him. So he doesn't want us to look at that. So he posts that meme because he knows we're normal, the normal people that want to have peace and want an end to this horrible, horrible thing called racism, that we would be really upset about that. So he made it as upsetting as possible. Because when you're looking over there, you're not going to be looking over at the what's really going on because it's so breathtakingly horrible what he's put out there that everyone's going to talk about it. And I think we get the game, but I think that we get it now because we've been exposed to this kind of abuse for 10 years going on 11. So after a while, you get that he starts he starts complaining about some imagined problem, and then he says, "Oh, I can fix it." So he creates the problem, and then he goes in and he pretends that he's fixing it, and then he kind of fixes it, and then he proclaims that he's a hero for fixing the problem that he created. That is his MO across the board. So this is just the latest one, this horrible meme, this horrible video. We remember the one of him dumping, posing as an Air Force pilot and dumping shit literally on the American people, right? And he's still there. He's still there. He doesn't want us to see the files, so he decides that he's going to invade Venezuela. He doesn't want us to see the files. He doesn't want us talking about his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, his best friend for over a decade. He doesn't want us to be talking about that. So he starts talking about, I know, let's go bully Greenland. Let's upset the entire world. Yeah, how about, yeah, oh, that'll work, right? Off he goes, and all the leaders have to fly into Greenland, and the people in Greenland and Denmark are protesting, and everyone's mad and everyone's worried, and they don't know what to say to get him to calm down and to stop threatening the world, which could lead to World War III, because he doesn't want us to look at the Epstein files. He doesn't want us talking about it. He's gone ballistic over us talking about it. And he's using misogyny and racism and threatening the world and threatening our economy. We have suffered so much damage, the aftermath of which will be like probably the rest of our lifetimes here as American citizens, picking up the pieces and rebuilding this country as if we have been attacked by a foreign enemy, because we have. So, are you mentioning Bannon? I mean, when it gets to a point that I'm just giving you a little microscopic smidgen of what we know is going on right now so we can just sort of vent, you don't even know what to talk about first anymore because there's so much. ICE and DHS. It is infuriating that in the face of what they're doing to the American people, destroying people, smashing their windshields, smashing through their doors, having masks on, assaulting, murdering, terrorizing, taking children to the concentration camps that they've built, taking them to baby jails. It is astounding, mind-boggling, that rather than the national conversation right now being abolish ICE and DHS, arrest Kristi Noem and Tom Homan and Stephen Miller and Kash Patel and J.D. Vance and all the rest of them, we're doing this. We're doing this. We're doing, oh, well, maybe we'll give them 2 more weeks and we'll decide whether to fund them. And maybe if they wear body cams and that we require for them to have a warrant before they do these things, maybe we'll just do that. Are you effing kidding me? Every single one of us has got to be taking action. Because at the very least, you will feel better. There's a representative in Massachusetts, Seth Moulton. I call his office a few times a week, usually, and have for years. I gave him a rah-rah because I've seen him on like Midas Touch recently. He's running for senator. And I have seen him more than I ever have before. And I'm not saying it's because of my calls, but you never know. Being more outspoken, saying the orange monster, those are my words, is a racist. Just saying it, just coming out with it. So we have to encourage our representatives to tell it like it is. I just heard Hakeem Jeffries. Oh my God. I guess he got a little bit, maybe he raised his voice about the racist meme and maybe, but it was really nothing. It's like lukewarm. Can you even imagine if there was a Democratic president in that White House. Can we imagine Joe Biden, Obama, um, even the Republicans? Can we imagine them sicking the illicit DHS and ICE on the American people and just like what? So this is the kind of thing that tells all of us that this is a lawless country right now. The police departments and all these various places that ICE and DHS are going are like, we don't know what to do with this. And the fact of the matter is they should be arresting these ICE and DHS agents. And I know they're afraid, but these times call for the greatest courage imaginable. Because this appearance of strength is a smoke and mirrors show. This appearance of strength with the American people by trying to bully us, not only with DHS, not only with ICE, but now when we talk about voting, we all need to be aware that they're putting a bill on the floor this week called these losers, these MAGA Republicans that are ignoring the fact that we have a racist, rapist, malignant narcissist, sociopath, sadist enemy in the White House. Oh, they don't even, yeah, well, that's just Trump being Trump. The SAVE Act will make it practically impossible for the American people to vote. They're trying to make it impossible for the American people to vote in a freaking democracy. In a democracy, the thing for us to be doing is to make it easy for people to vote. Keep your eye on the ball. Do not ignore this. Do not let yourself not know that this is happening. Do not just let this one go by. Tell everybody you know they're trying to take away our ability to vote. Not only does the SAVE Act require ridiculous amounts of identification, where a lot of it was hard for people to get, not only does it require that, then you have somebody like the demonic Steve Bannon. I'm sorry. I think that guy for his podcast has like a picture of Jesus. Like, see how I have an angel? He's got like a picture of Jesus. Saying the ICE is going to be at the voting, the polling stations. We're going to put ICE. ICE is going to be there. Okay, he's there. ICE is going to be there to punish us for voting and participating in our democracy, because according to them, if you love our country, which means loving our democracy and loving our history, including Black history, if you love your brothers and sisters, if you want to serve this country, if you just really appreciate this country, they want to make it a crime. So they're talking, he's talking about, and I don't know who he thinks he is, Steve Bannon. I don't know who he thinks he is. He's a guy with a podcast right now that should be in prison. You think this is not a lawless country? The bigger the criminal, the more likely the orange monster is to pardon you. As long as you like him. It's not a crime to be from another country. It's not a crime to love democracy. It's not a crime to love and support one another. It's not a crime to be a civil servant. It's not a crime to want good libraries and education. It's not a crime to want other people or yourself or both to have the health care that you need. It's not a crime to look at the elders and to want to really make sure that they're going to be okay, because we're all going to be elders someday. It's not a crime to be an American. So let's not be swayed by the constant pummeling that we go through of being beat up, emotionally assaulted and beat up, and some people literally being beat up and assaulted physically. We cannot let them make us forget that they are brazen criminals. They are enemies of the United States. They are treasonous, seditionists, traitors, thieves, sexual assaulters, traffickers, working for the enemy, and the enemy needs for us to be afraid of these idiots. Yeah, they're enemies of humanity, yes. To continue to be lukewarm in our response should not be considered an option. They will lose in the end. I'm totally in agreement. I'm kind of like, I'm calling this getting a grip, and I want you all to like at least know that for a half an hour a day, you can hear me rant because you feel the same way too, right? It's not a crime to be a democracy, but to an enemy, they have to, you just have to understand, to the enemy, America has always been the jewel in the crown. This is like our enemy countries have been drooling over, taking over, attacking and taking over the United States of America for the longest time. You love the rants. Yeah, you love the rants because you feel the same exact way. And it's really helpful when you feel a certain way, when you feel distraught, to talk about it, right? So, are we going to give in to the enemy? Are we going to stand for, on the world stage, our representatives being J.D. Vance and Usha? I'm sorry, there's no excuse for staying with that POS who's racist. And your roots are in India. Your lineage is Indian. There's no excuse for her to stay with him. They asked the Olympic Committee there in Milan, asked the crowd to please don't make a ruckus. Don't boo JD when the American athletes come out. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Guess what happened? They did it. They did it. They booed him. And I've heard some commentators say that he was really surprised. And I think that that's true. When they are booed, hey, John, good to see you. When they are booed, it's like a shock to them because they really do live in a little bubble. This little, maybe a bigger bubble, but it's a bubble. And when they're at their parties at Mar-a-Lago, Epstein used to go to those. We don't have to get into that at the moment. But when they have their parties at Mar-a-Lago and they have their Turning Point USA and they have their rallies and they have their MAGAs, which is getting to be less and less and less and less and less. I know for the orange monster, he's got people around him all the time telling him how wonderful he is. We see it during those press conferences where he's blubbering on and saying things, and the people around him standing around him like they're some kind of professionals that deserve our respect. He says the most heinous things. I think about those press conferences where he's always seated now. He's saying the most heinous things and says something that I guess he's thinking is kind of a joke or sarcastic or insulting to somebody, and they go, "Ha, ha, 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 ha," and they all go along with it. If it's any consolation, the karmic back backfiring for them will be pretty harsh. Yeah, he was not happy, yeah, so when they get booed, it's like and that's what tells you it's cult mind. For all the minions around him, when they get booed, he really doesn't care. He's that much of a malignant narcissist. As long as he has attention, as long as he stirs things up and makes a ruckus, he's happy. He doesn't care that people hate him. But he does care if he doesn't get enough attention. So the attention, even if it's negative, it's okay with the orange monster. The attention serves two purposes for him. The attention helps him to feel like at least he's on the front page. At least the headlines and the chyrons they all have his name. How many times has his name been uttered? Trillions of times. Maybe hundreds of trillions of times. His name has been uttered over the past more than 10 years. It's got to be in the hundreds of trillions. And I mean, I don't know what a trillion even is. As long as he has that attention, and as long as he has whatever he's doing be a distraction from the many, many crimes he's committing against us every single day, he's happy. He's in his own bubble because he keeps it that way, but he's happy if people hate him. He doesn't care. The others, like JD, are like, everybody loves us because they're all praising one another and, you know what I mean? So, because we're furious, and I want to let everybody know here that as far as I'm concerned, we have a right to be livid. And I work with people as a spiritual counselor, and I'm constantly saying it's not healthy to your physical self. It's not healthy for your body to be this furious, this enraged, and not do something. So let's do something. Let's call our representatives this week, all week. Stop the Save, and I think they've turned it into Save America Act. No, can we just rename the Promote Fascism Act? Promote Authoritarianism Act. That's how they try to fool everybody. I know we're paying attention, but there are people that are not paying attention, and they see the Save Act, that must be good, right? It's not good. The big beautiful bill. Oh, that must be really helpful. They're stealing our money. He's robbing us blind. How much are we going to have left for us? He's gutted everything. The good news is America has a lot of resilience and America has a lot of chutzpah. And Americans don't like being told what to do. Stop American voting everywhere. Yeah, that's what it is. Pass it on. But we have to be loud. And we have to be loud consistently every single day. Now, don't feel guilty if you need a break. I do have to say that. I feel like I have to say that. Don't feel guilty if you need a timeout. We have different levels of tolerance for what we can handle. I have a high tolerance. I mean, I can really just know everything that's going on and I can get furious and, but not everyone does. We're all wired differently. We have a lot of billionaires to tax, that's for sure. I've had to learn in my life that when I'm enraged, I need to put that into some kind of self-expression. What do you do with your rage? Please don't hold it in. This is infuriating beyond belief. People are being held accountable 8 days after their names and their photos were showing up in the Epstein files. 38,000 times Trump's name is in the Epstein files, and that's just what we know thus far. And he's been trying to hide the evidence continually without ceasing. Hope says, I scream and curse and then I take action. Good. I'm happy to hear that. Because this is beyond the pale. And I'll just end with this. I know in my heart, I know in my bones, I know in my soul that the American people, for some reason, were doing nothing for a very long time. When Citizens United was decided by the corrupt Supreme Court in 2010, we should have been up in arms. And fortunately, I'm hearing that conversation come around here. John Ossoff was talking about it. Somebody else I was listening to was somebody who's running for office. But I'm hearing it in the national conversation. Citizens United needs to be abolished. But there's a whole lot more. We have mountains and mountains of work that we need to do. But we can do it because we are America and we needed to be woken up. And it's unbelievable to me, really, it truly is, how many opportunities we have to be so enraged. It's like, I just know that this is how life works, right? Yeah, we get so furious. And I've taught you how to meditate. Good. That's really, really important in order to cope. It's really important. If you can get into a meditation practice, it makes a big difference. So we have to know that we can do this. And you may know in your own life, if you've ignored a problem too long and thought maybe it will just go away, what happens is we get more wake-up calls and more wake-up calls and more wake-up calls. And now a lot of people are reportedly not getting any sleep because we have a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. It's been a really damn long wake-up call. Am I right? Really freaking long. But we really have no choice. Unless we don't want democracy, right? We can do this. I know we can do this. So use that anger. Mobilize. Thank you for joining me this evening. Those of you that are viewers on YouTube, I think all of you are. I'll do a video and I'll upload it tonight. And I hope that you're staying warm and cozy. Do something nice for yourself. Because when we're being abused, we have to make sure that we're in self-care and healing. And know that we're all in this together. Okay? Of course we can do this. We're tough. And don't forget to laugh. Don't forget to belly laugh once in a while. Maybe every day. Okay. All right. We'll see you really soon. As I said, I'll do a psychic reporter video and I'll upload it on YouTube in a little bit. See you soon. And I'd like to say namaste. Hang in there. We've got this. See ya.